All right, let's talk about Sony. There's a lot to unpack here, a lot going on in the Sony space. So first we have, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we have the showcase that was announced that will be on September 9th. Shout out to Terrible Football Show, launching the same day. It's going to be going on at 1 p.m. Pacific time, so 3 p.m. our time. This is going to be about 40 minutes of information. All right, cool. Beefy show. Already like what we're getting with this. But here's what's cool about it, man. Literally, like every insider out there has been hyping this thing up, like saying, like, yo, this is going to have incredible announcements, quote, super announcements, including even David Jaffe, who I mentioned earlier, even saying the exact words, this is going to blow your fucking mind. Exact words from him. Of course, Sony's going to hype it up. It'd be like, oh, it's going to be have a lot of cool stuff in it. You know, I've seen Sony, people, other Sony developers saying that and stuff, but the insiders really stepping up saying, hey, you're in for a treat. It really makes you think, what is this going to have? There was a very heavy emphasis on the future of the PlayStation 5. That's a big focus here. So it's like, what could potentially come? I'm hard set believing that God of War Ragnarok is going to be shown in some capacity at this showcase. In some capacity, that's going to be there. I would safely assume that Final Fantasy 16 will be there, because I know it has like its timed release. I think it's going to be on PlayStation for X amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it out there, guys. I'm throwing it out there. Spider-Man 2. It's going to be in the show somehow. Whether if it opens the show or closes the show, I would want to think that close the show. I actually want to kind of maybe say it would be the close of the show, because we already know, God of War Ragnarok is going to be a thing. So that could open the show, right? And then, Spider-Man 2, which we know is realistically, we know what's going to happen. There has been no actual reveal for it. So that would be a good closer, in my opinion, would be the reveal for that. What else could potentially be there? Would we get a Sly Cooper reboot? We've heard a little rumors of that. Would we get a Jack and Dexter? No, that one's dead. What about Resistance? We've already heard talks about Twisted Metal. Yeah, that's one that we've heard recently. Last of Us. I would imagine that Last of Us remake will potentially be here, because I think the grand game plan for Last of Us here. We have the HBO show that's set to come out, I believe, next year. Last of Us 3 is probably years out, obviously. So this Last of Us remake, I could see launching alongside the show around that range next year, because obviously the show is taking place at the first game. So it's kind of like build hype for the franchise. Like, hey, you get the remake. Hey, watch the show. So Last of Us remake could potentially be there. Will we get something new for Uncharted? Will we get something new for Infamous? Shadow of Colossus? Dude, there's so many possibilities. I'm beyond pumped. Like I said, I'm hard predicting Spider-Man 2. Hard predicting that. Put money on it. Take the money line. Take the spread. Whatever betting terms you want to say.
I mean, my thoughts are more leaning, since they're saying the future of PS5. I would feel like it would lean towards maybe giving us actually possibly new IPs and exclusives for the PS5. Because as we joked earlier, the only thing PS5 really has going in the holidays is Deathloop.
Yeah, they don't really have shit coming out this year.
So, I mean, a 40-minute show supposed to be the future of PS5. I could only ideally them showing off IPs, things that will get people excited for seasonal stuff. Maybe an announcement saying, hey, we got PS5s. They're coming. They'll be here soon.
That would be a game breaker. That will blow people's fucking minds.
I mean, that would blow people's mind, because people are scalping and hunting those PlayStation 5. So something like that. So the fact that it's being stated as the future of PS5, I feel like it would be possibly new IPs, exclusives, an update of assuring people that PlayStation 5s are coming, and hey, this is what we got going on. Is sort of where I'm leaning towards, versus getting reboots and things like that.
And and that's a very fair point. I'm sitting here hyping up all these other exclusives that we know about that's under the PlayStation umbrella, but that's a very good point, is that we could see some new IPs that will literally blow us away. Now, with that said, I still think we'll see Ragnarok. I still think we'll see Last of Us. And like I said, I'm betting on Spider-Man 2. But you're right. We could see some new IPs that's going to blow us away. They also did say that you're going to get to see games from small and larger developers. So it's going to be nice to see what other kind of indie games we see coming out. Because, of course, one indie game we have coming out soon, Kena Bridge of Spirits. That is an indie studio and looks like a phenomenal game, though. It looks beautiful. So I'm so beyond pumped for this show. Can't wait to talk about it next week on Lighthearted Gamers, episode 57, which John will be there for. Shout out to that. He's going to be talking about Tales of Arise as well. I'm also kind of curious if we'll see maybe like another look at, let's say, Hogwarts Legacy. That was delayed to next year, and it was initially revealed at PlayStation State of Play earlier this year or late last year, one of the two. I think it was earlier this year. So maybe we'll see more on Hogwarts Legacy. But no, you're totally right on new IPs. That would be awesome, and I would also like to see maybe some reboots. I'm going to also say we're probably going to see Twisted Metal. That's just a guess. And a random prediction that I don't have any like footing to stand on that I just want to throw out into the universe is I'm going to say we're going to need to see something with Sly Cooper. I'm throwing that randomly out in the universe. I have no footing on this, but I'm yeeting it out there.
You really want a new Sly Cooper?
Maybe.
Because, I mean, you really push hard for it anytime you get a chance.
Hey, that'd be pretty dope, man. I'm here for it.
That brings up another thing. What's up with you and furry characters?
Okay, we're moving on. don't put that light on me.
I mean, you're a super big fan of Conquer and always going about how you need a Conquer master. Now you're trying to push Sly.
I'm not a furry.
I'm not saying you're a furry. I'm just saying you really like animal-based characters.
I think it's funny how you're just like, I'm not saying you're a furry, and I'm over here saying I'm not a furry. And then she's like, well, I don't know, Alex. That sounds like a guilty conscience. I'm not a furry, I swear. Look, man, I like what I like, okay? But it's not that, though.
Those franchises are good. I'm seeing a pattern here.
There's not a pattern. You're just being a dick. There's a big difference that.